Hello everyone. So this is a new playlist and the previous one on Azure will be going on, and alongside I also started data engineering using AWS, where we'll be learning how a data engineering works with AWS with some simple pipelines using an entry. This is only for some entry and mid level, because at higher level there would be more responsibilities and more services being used by the data scientists or data engineers. So before that, let's learn what is cloud computing, like why we actually need this, any of these, AWS or Azure. So cloud computing is a machine running in another server or another place where everything is managed by them, and you provide that, you implement or develop your app or your service or your infrastructure in that cloud platform, so that they will maintain that security, they'll maintain that credibility of that your application, and you can scale up, scale down with a minimum cost compared to doing everything by yourself. So cloud computing, it's a like rent servers, storage and networking, and no hardware to maintain, like I said, and you only pay for the services you use, and it is scalable and fault tolerance. And this video is not for a detailed cloud computing infrastructure or cloud computing. This is only for AWS introduction. So in this video, we'll only be learning what, as an intro, like what we'll be learning in this playlist. So why cloud exists, like avoid upfront costs, no server maintenance, and scale instantly, high availability and faster deployment cycles. So there are a lot of, let's say you want to build a basic pipeline using cloud, there are a lot of advantages where you have a security, you can build your own virtual network, and also you can have a complete control over the data governance, and you can also monitor like how the things are going. So if it is in local, then people can only see that service only through your system, through your device. So, and storage, there are limitations of storage, but whereas in cloud there is unlimited storage, meaning as much as you required, you it is available, but you should pay based on that. So now what is AWS? It is a cloud platform just like Azure and other GCP and IBM, with 200 plus services. This is the largest cloud provider compared to any other cloud provider. It offers compute, storage, networking, database, AI, and much more. It's world's most, just like I said, most widely used cloud provider. Now you can see, let's say if you go through any LinkedIn job post, you would definitely see AWS. If it is a data analyst or data scientist, everyone will ask for AWS and what it provides. So EC2 and Lambda provides compute, storage, S3, EBS, and Glacier. It's nothing but elastic blob storage, and database like RDS and DynamoDB, and networking we have VPC and Route 53, like analytics, Glue, Athena, Redshift, and real-time streaming we have Kinesis, and for messaging we have SNS and SQS. You can also see a small project, simple project where we build an event-based pipeline using AWS. So that where I simply explained about S3, and we also used Athena, Glue, SNS and SQS, and also Lambda. So you can see how, in a outline way, how they are working, because if it is a real data engineer pipeline, there will be more steps involved. And why AWS? Like because it's most mature cloud provider, meaning it's been into the business for long time, since long time, and largest global infrastructure, high enterprise adoption, deep analytical ecosystem, and best pay as you go method. So for a more complicated service, the pay as you go, meaning the cost of AWS is much cheaper than any other cloud provider. So now let's see for data engineer, what are the top services that we have to learn. So for data ingestion, we'll be using Lambda, Glue, EMR, which is Elastic Map Reduce, and for streaming we have Kinesis, and we have data streams, data analytics, and Firehose. So we'll also be learning all the three, but we may not perform any project on that, but we will learn how things work in Kinesis. And for data, like we have S3 and we have data catalog in Glue, and data like Glue crawlers and Glue catalog and Amazon Redshift, QuickSight, Athena, and just like we have a Power BI in Azure, we have QuickSight for Amazon. But of course, Power BI is not just dedicated to Azure, it supports most of them, but QuickSight is first, like lightweight to go visualization tool. Now we have Event Bridge, SNS and SQS, Glue, Step Function, and Azure CloudWatch, where we monitoring the entire um, AWS pipelines and pipelines and ingestion tasks and everything. So, so in the first module, we'll be learning about AWS storages and what are the storage classes we have, like standard, intelligent tiering, and express one zone, and infrequent access and access one zone, and glacier and types of glaciers. We have glacier with flexible retriever, deep archive, and instant retrieval. So we'll be learning everything and when to use. And also we have something called EBS, but it is not used outside. But when in case you create an EC2 instant, we usually use EBS over there. I mean, AWS uses to create that storage. And coming to the next one, we have compute and ETL uh, video, which first we'll be discussing with Lambda, about Lambda, and next we'll be discussing about the glue. Like for Lambda, like what is the main significance of Lambda, how we can use Lambda, why it is so important, and how um, Lambda solves most of the problems. And coming to glue, like we will be learning visual ETL, and also how can we use PySpark to code, and also the crawlers and catalog and jobs. And coming to the module 3, we'll be learning about data streaming. We'll be not be showing any demo pipeline or something because it has some cost, and with a simple one or two examples I can show you. So we'll be deep diving into Kinesis data streams. And moving on to the messaging, how like SQS and SNS. And then in module 5, we'll be learning Athena, like how we can query databases and how we can use Athena end to end. And the module 6 will be learning Redshift. It has some cost included, so we have to be mindful like how to manage the cost, and we'll be also looking into that, and we'll be discussing more of theoretical part like architecture and explaining each and services without not possibly a quick complete demo. And for the module 7, we'll be learning about DynamoDB and why most of the companies just use DynamoDB and ask for DynamoDB experience. We'll be learning about DynamoDB in detail. And in 8th module, we'll be learning about QuickSight like analytics and creating dashboards, and how building a simple data pipeline and how we can use QuickSight to build that dashboard. Ninth module, we'll be giving a like quick intro about ML for data engineers, but I will create a dedicated machine learning playlist completely. But here we'll be only learning the setup, like not the coding part, but how we can run machine learning models and how we can deploy them. And then we have three sections in module 10. One is a real world project for batch processing, and one is for streaming. It will be a simple project for the streaming, because the more complicated the project is, the more complicated the data, the more cost you will get. So make sure when you use Kinesis, always be mindful of the cost, because um, keep the records as low as possible if you are just learning. And we'll be also try to create a project for CDC pipeline if we could. So yeah, these three are, and that's it for this playlist. And thank you for watching. See you in the next one.